What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm super excited to share this video with you all today about consistency. And I got this topic from one of our community members. I'd taken a poll on Instagram and just said, hey, like, what do you guys want to learn about? And what are the things that maybe you're struggling with that you could use some help with? So the topic is consistency. I'm going to discuss, the meaning of it, ways to cultivate consistency. And then my favorite part of the whole thing is just opportunities for grace with consistency. So to begin, we're all just going to take a collective breath. So if you'd like, you can place both hands on your heart. You can close your eyes or just lower your gaze. And take a deep breath in through the nose. And a deep exhale out through the mouth. All right, and you can open your eyes and let's get into it. So let's start with the definition. So, I like to do a little research, like to bring context to the topics at hand. And what I found is that there are a couple meanings for the word consistent. And the first one is unchanging in nature, standard, or effect over time. It's marked by harmony, regularity, or steady continuity. And the Latin root for consistent is consistere, which translates to existing. And I think the word that spoke to me the most out of that definition was regularity. And I think that is the core of consistency. Sometimes we have lofty expectations about consistency and think that it equates to perfection, but that's not the case. It's really just about regularity. And so, I'm going to dive into some things that have helped me to cultivate consistency in my practice and in my life. And those are habits and rituals. And habits and rituals are daily, weekly, or monthly practices that you are committed to. And I think that in order to be committed to something, you have to have a why behind it. And to have a why, there has to be some sort of feeling. There has to be something that has jolted you into being committed to that thing. So using my health and wellness as an example, I'm committed to showing up daily for myself. And what that looks like is a mostly morning routine, but sometimes it is just a daily routine if I, maybe have to sleep in a little bit or life just be happening and I can't do it in the morning. But I have a routine or ritual of practices that I am committed to, and I stay consistent with that because of that why. And the why comes to me out of, what I felt like without doing it. And so for some people, if you're, trying to lose weight or trying to eat, more healthily, think about the times where you felt your lowest and you just weren't happy with how you felt in your body, or you didn't like not feeling as strong as you used to feel. And go to that place and let that be your why for committing to doing the things each day. And another way to think about it too is like, how can you make these habits or rituals fun? Like, I don't want to do something consistently that feels like a chore, So I make sure that my morning routine not only feeds my spirit, not only feeds my mind and my body, but it feeds my spirit. It's something that I want to do. It's something that I look forward to. It's something that I know that once it's done, I'm going to feel better because I did it. So those are some things that have helped me. And just being more specific too, like some of those rituals to me are, there's flexibility in them. So yes, I have a morning routine, but it doesn't always look the same. Some days I spend 15 minutes journaling and I stick to my daily devotional, but then other days I do my daily devotional, but I spend more time in meditation. So it's okay to have some flux in the rituals that you have. The consistency is really just showing up and giving yourself a blueprint of, hey, this is what I want to commit to accomplishing each day. And sometimes getting to the accomplishment is a little bit different, but that's okay. So yes, those are some things that help get you consistent. Another way to cultivate consistency is through accountability. And I know people talk about, I got my accountability partner, my friends, my family holding me accountable. And that may not work for everybody. I know for me, like, I can be a little hyper independent sometimes. So I don't really gravitate towards having, maybe an exact person that's holding me accountable. But I hold myself accountable in different ways. So sometimes it's following people on Instagram or, YouTubers as well who are doing the things that I want to be aligned with. So when I get on Instagram and maybe I choose to scroll instead of getting up, but I see them drinking their water in the morning and meditating. I'm like, oh, that's my accountability. You know, I want to show up for myself too. So that's one way to look at it. And another way too is like putting reminders in place, and you can do that on your phone. You can do that with downtime. You can do that with the reminders. You can also do it with post-it notes. I have post-it notes and affirmations all over my room because they help keep me consistent with, you know, the mindset that I want to have and my well-being. So those are some other tips for being accountable without the traditional side of it of just having an accountability partner. And now this is the part that I have really wanted to dive into. And this is called, I'm calling it opportunities for grace. And I say that because with being consistent, there's just going to come a time where you won't be able to be consistent. And that's okay. I think that I had to understand that for myself and not beat myself up about it and just say, hey, like for some reason, this season is not allowing me to show up in the same way that I have before. And things are changing, and that's okay. And so a couple areas where you may feel out of, you know, your consistency track are for women when they're in their menstrual phase. And I've done a lot of studying about the menstrual cycle and how it affects us as women. And we go through our follicular phase and our ovulation phase and luteal phase and menstrual phase. And when I tell you the luteal and the menstrual, they hit differently than those other two. And our energy is different. We experience fatigue, sometimes irritability, moodiness, all those things. And it just makes us show up in a different way. And honoring the natural flow of your energy, of your body, is a good thing to do. Sometimes you're not going to be able to hit the gym 4 times a week when you're in your menstrual cycle or menstrual phase, but when you're in your follicular phase, you can hit it 4 times a week and you'll be fine. But understanding that about yourself will help you to set more realistic expectations and help you to come up with a consistent flow instead of just, you know, beating yourself up because you can't show up, you know, and that's okay. Another opportunity for grace is with grieving. The process of grief is so up and down. It's not really the most stable. It's not really steady. And it can be hard to be consistent when you're grieving. So that's another opportunity to give yourself grace, to, you know, honor what you need in that moment. And maybe that's what's consistent for you, is honoring what you need. So really just reframing that for yourself. And then the last area is correlated to your human design. So I've been deep in human design. It's really like getting me geeked out. But it's so interesting when you kind of step into learning what your human design is, you notice, oh wait, I'm maybe not really built for this. And maybe I shouldn't try to fit into that. Or like maybe I can be inconsistent and that's okay. So I won't dive deep into that. If you do want a video on human design though, let me know. I will throw in that if you're curious about learning about it, get the app called My Human Design and you'll learn about your human design. You'll learn about your natural energy flow. You'll learn about a lot of things. And you may even think that maybe consistency is a myth and I don't really need to dive into that. That's okay. But explore and see what that is for you. And lastly, with consistency, in order to stick to it, do not commit to too much. Like when I was in therapy, my therapist would always tell me small things consistently. And it was a game changer because I was trying to do the most and stuff was just falling through the cracks. And I was so mad at myself. And I was like, yo, like, Naomi, why can't you do this? You know, but it's just because I had too much on my plate. And to be consistent is, you know, synonymous with being sustainable. So if your habits and rituals that you're trying to be consistent with aren't sustainable, lessen the load, you know, do less and start small. And as you start to find more discipline and consistency in those things, maybe you add in a little here and there. So yes, that's my take on consistency. I'm interested to know what you guys think, some ways that you've been able to cultivate consistency, if you even believe in consistency or if you think that it's a myth. You know, I'm curious to know what you guys think. So thank you for tuning in. And if you have any suggestions for new YouTube videos, definitely let me know and drop it in the comments. All right, peace out.